Hey guys, it's Leanne and Merrick, and welcome to the first episode of the Modern Girl's Guide to Sewing. Confession, we hate store-bought patterns. They're complicated, they're confusing, they're outdated, and who knows how they're gonna turn out. They just stifle our creativity. So a few years ago, I taught myself how to create patterns using my own clothing. It's the idea of taking pieces from your closet that fit you well, you know you like them, tracing them, and creating a base pattern. The skill is my secret weapon. And with it, you can literally create anything you can dream of.
Then, a couple of years ago, Leanne introduced this technique to me, and it revolutionized my sewing. And now, we're ready to teach this technique to you.
Here's what you're going to need. An item of clothing that fits you well, paper to use for your pattern. You can purchase pattern paper at the fabric store or use medical paper, parchment paper, or even regular printer paper taped together if that's all you have. You'll need a rotary cutter and mat or scissors, but we recommend a rotary cutter because it's much easier, a pencil, a ruler, and a Ziploc bag.
Step 1. Look at your item of clothing and figure out the different pieces that it is made of. You'll be creating a separate pattern piece for each section of the clothing. We'll show you with this basic tee. You'll see it has a sleeve, a front, and a back, and a neckline. That's 4 separate pieces, and you'll need 4 separate patterns. Step 2. Turn your item of clothing inside out and lay it flat on the floor on top of your pattern paper. For your sleeves, make sure your sleeve is completely flat, that you're marking right along the edge of your seam allowance. Take note that the outside is on a fold, and when you're cutting it out, your fabric will need to be folded as well. Mark your pattern accordingly so that you remember. With hemming, on any hems, pay attention to the width of it and make sure that you add extra onto your pattern paper. To create your neckline pattern piece, trace along your existing neckline and then make it about 2 inches thick. For your bodice, fold your item of clothing in half lengthwise. Trace around it, adding seam allowances on all sides except for the folded edge. Make sure that you mark your folded edge on your pattern piece. Step 3. Remove the item of clothing off of the pattern and use your ruler to straighten out your lines or smooth your curves. Now you have pattern pieces to create a garment that you know will fit you perfectly. Now you have pattern pieces to create a garment that you know will fit you perfectly.
To learn what to do with these patterns, we've created a super comprehensive sewing instruction series, The Modern Girl's Guide to Sewing, where we'll dive into every part of apparel sewing from the most basic stitches to professional techniques, and we'll have fun doing it. Find our guide at moderngirlsewing.com and start sewing like a modern girl.